Let's get it going on the Locked On Thunder live show with Derek Parker. I'm Rylan Stiles. We're here, Locked On Thunder live, Monday and Thursday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, every Monday and Thursday on the Locked On Thunder YouTube page, uploaded after the fact on any podcasting provider that you need. Here's our schedule for the week. It's going to be fun, Derek. We have NBA basketball back. This regular season tips off on Tuesday with the Thunder being at the epicenter of the NBA world. They're going to have their banner. They're going to get their rings. They're going to kick off the new partnership between the league and NBC. It's going to be a lot of fun. We made it through a shortened offseason. We made it through a long preseason, and we've gotten to opening night, Derek.
Yeah, I'm super excited for the games to start mattering. As a basketball sicko, the preseason's fun. You get to see a lot of youngsters, a lot of guys fighting for rotational minutes, but it just can't substitute for the highly competitive, most simply the best basketball in the world. That is the actual NBA, the regular season, and then obviously into the postseason. So super excited. So excited that I'm cracking a Schweppes right now. Caffeine
right
free.
On the pod. Bad crack. We'll have to work on the cracks.
It's a mini can. It's not a regular can.
Oh, mini can, huh?
Yeah, it's a mini can. So the crack didn't come through too well, but
wow, you look like a giant holding that, which
which I'm not.
Proportions, yeah.
We don't have to get into the height again. Let's move on.
It's a good feeling. Day late, dollar short for Derek Parker in the height category, but it is NBA opening night eve. So we are rocking and rolling here on Locked On Thunder. The squint is back. Thank you, Morgan, for calling me the GOAT. Serge Ibaka is in town. He was at practice today, and he's going to be at opening night tomorrow. So think of this, Derek. Tomorrow night, opening night, you're going to see the Thunder go up against Kevin Durant, Jeff Green, and Steven Adams on the other side. Serge Ibaka in the stands back in town. And, of course, the first ever champion in Thunder history team on the court with 99% of their roster from a year ago being back. So it's going to be a very fun, very historic night in OKC tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited just to get the general vibes, as you talked about, whether we're raising, dropping the banner, the rings. I don't know how they're going to shoot with the rings on. I mean, I think it's going to hamper play a little bit playing in the rings, but super excited for tomorrow in OKC.
Yeah, we had this discussion on OKC Dream Team where you can find both of us of if they're going to raise the banner from the floor to the ceiling or if they're just going to plop it down. I like the theatrics of raising it. It gets you more bang for your buck than just a simple drop, but we're still left in the dark on how they're going to do this. So it's going to be a surprise to even us what they're going to do for their very first championship banner. What's it going to look like? What color will it be? How big will it be? We've seen teams go different ways with it. We've seen teams have a massive championship banner compared to their Western Conference or Eastern Conference banner. We've seen teams just designate a different color than their other banners to represent an NBA champion. How the Thunder handle that, we'll see. But tomorrow's game will be a very fun one. That animosity for Kevin Durant already shining through in the comments. And what a starting lineup this will be for the Rockets, which will deploy Kevin in the starting lineup and Adams in the starting lineup. This fan base is going to be riding a roller coaster of emotion, like dancing and celebrating pregame for the ceremonies and then booing viciously against Kevin Durant, but then cheering with joy for Steven Adams. What a roller coaster that you are all in on for tomorrow. We'll have the recap here at Locked On Thunder afterward. But Derek, on today's Locked On Thunder live stream, which will probably be a long one because we have a lot to get through, we're going to give you our Western Conference, our Eastern Conference standings, our award winners, our full playoff bracket, and who will be the NBA champion, all on today's show. So, Derek, without further ado, we'll be messing with the coaches in the comments as well. So drop any of your predictions. We might tee you up for one if you get too wild, but we'll be talking to the coaches in the comments as well. But without further ado, let's get into the Western Conference standings. At number one in the West, third straight season, I have the Oklahoma City Thunder. 63 wins is what I've earmarked for OKC this season, which does hit their over, according to our good friends over at FanDuel. But you know, I just think that expecting them to duplicate the win total from last year, even with all of the qualifiers of like health and everything, you hope that they're a more healthy team than they were a year ago. It just does not put into proper perspective how impressive last season was and how rare it is to get to a 68 plus win mark. This is a franchise that its previous win total high was 60. And they've had a lot of great teams and a lot of great players in OKC. Of course, none of them as deep as this team, and arguably none of them as talented as this team, but still 63 wins, nothing to sneeze at. I think that they comfortably have the 1 seed. I think that they're going to be about at least 6 games up on the number 2 seed, and it's going to be pretty easy, smooth, and riding into the final days of the regular season. Number 2, though, I have the Houston Rockets. They're not the second best team in the West for me. You all know my love affair with the Denver Nuggets. They're not the second best team, but I trust them to compete every single night in the regular season. I trust them to go collect wins. Their defense is going to be great this season, and that will propel them. Alpi looked incredible in Eurobasket. Adding Kevin Durant is big time. We're both big believers in him and Thompson. So the Rockets at the 2 seed. Denver, I have at the 3 seed. I think that some of their depth is a touch overrated, really narrowing that into Valanciunas. Like, is Valanciunas going to help this team out in the playoffs? No. Is he going to move the needle in the playoffs? No. In the regular season, though, this is the best backup center that Jokic has ever had, and so like that will help his on-off numbers, and it will honestly hurt his on-off numbers in the MVP case, but it'll help the team find this success and finish back in the top 3 of the Western Conference. I think that will be a tight race between Houston and Denver for who actually gets the 2, but the Thunder should hope that it goes this way. In some order, it goes OKC at 1, and then it goes Houston, Denver in some order 2 and 3. That way they avoid either one of those teams until the Western Conference Finals, and particularly avoiding Denver until the Western Conference Finals in the postseason. But Denver at 3, I like the depth that they've had to bolster their regular season roster. I like a lot of their depth that they've added to bolster their playoff roster, and even Valanciunas, who I do not think is a positive playoff player. Like Valanciunas, all he has to do in the playoffs is provide 5 minutes of better basketball than DeAndre Jordan did. He better be able to do that. Like he better be able to do that for Denver. So number 4, to round out home court advantage, I have the LA Clippers. I believe in their depth. I believe in their defense. And I think that's going to be enough for a lot of regular season wins. And at number 5, I have the Minnesota Timberwolves, replacing Nikola Alexander-Walker internally with the step forward from Terrence Shannon, with a step forward from a Jalen Clark. I bank on that. I don't bank on their point guard position. I think that Conley, his regression is real. I don't buy into Rob Dillingham like we talked about on another live show. So that's why I have them at 5, but that's still a pretty good season for them. Number 6, perhaps my hottest take, the purple and gold Los Angeles Lakers. I'm all in on the DeAndre Ayton experience. I'm all in on Marcus Smart revitalizing his career offensively. I worry about them putting too much pressure on him defensively, as one of the only guys who has a reputation of being a defender on that roster, but he's well past his prime on that end of the floor. Still, though, I have Los Angeles at 6. I think I could be the most wrong about the Lakers out of anybody on this list. Number 7, I have the Golden State Warriors. Let's see if the Jimmy Steph thing was real. The end of the season last year is the best team whenever Steph and Jimmy got together. They, of course, faltered in the playoffs whenever Steph got hurt. I have way more questions about their depth, it feels like, than most other people do. But they still have Jonathan Kuminga, who, while might not make a positive impact on the Warriors this year, is a massive kind of trade piece for them, salary-wise, to match salaries and try to see if somebody will take a shot on him on the trade market. The San Antonio Spurs at 8. This is a team that I trust to compete every single night, and that's what it takes in the regular season. Like whenever you look at this young roster for San Antonio, they're going to get enough wins to get into the play-in tournament. And then at number 9, the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks have a great defense. If you consider how many games that you expect AD to miss until Kyrie gets back, this number makes sense for them. I think that they can be a team who, at the playoff bracket reveal after the play-in tournament, we look at them and say they're vastly underseeded because they now have a healthy Kyrie, they have a healthy AD, Cooper Flagg's awesome, and their defense is awesome, and they're going to be a very tough out in the playoffs. But number 10, I default to the Memphis Grizzlies at 10 just because of their culture and because of the fact that they do have a very talented roster. Their huge concern, though, is health. And hopefully for their sake, they get healthy and they can get back to the postseason, at least in the play-in for Memphis. And then I have the Portland Trailblazers at 11, whomst I love, whomst I wanted to give a spot to in the play-in tournament, but I just couldn't do it. I do trust their defense a lot. I like a lot of their pieces, but I just don't see them making the play-in tournament in this Western Conference yet. The Sacramento Kings, the most uninteresting team to me in the NBA. Russell Westbrook, fine, but it's going to be an awkward fit for Russ, especially with their lack thereof of floor spacing in Sacramento. Phoenix at 13. Bit of a wild card for me. I think that Phoenix's defense can actually be pretty good, but I don't know how all their pieces fit offensively. I think that not having a point guard and relying on my guy Jalen Green and Devin Booker to be the point guard could get a little bit shaky, could cost them some wins. 13 for the Suns, 14 for the Pelicans. It's just the Zion effect. I could see this Pelicans team making the play-in if everything went right for them, or at least being more competitive than 14. But I don't trust everything to go right for them. And then the 15, Utah Jazz. They're going to have the worst record in the league by design and also by playing in the Western Conference where every win is going to matter. The Jazz at 15. That's my 1 through 15, Derek Parker, in the Western Conference.
I like it. I think there's a lot of good takes in there. I think there's a lot of stuff I agree with. I think there's a few bad takes. I think as we'll get into the Lakers, it's bold. It could pan out. I know you're largely just hooking it to the Luka wagon there. But yeah, a lot of stuff I agree with. A lot of similar rankings to me.
Let's get your rankings. What are they?
You ready?
Where I'm so ready for your rankings.
You seem jazzed. I'm gonna hit you with my rankings. Number 1, I as well have the OKC Thunder. It's hard to watch this team for several years now grow into one of the best in the world, glow about it all offseason, fresh off a championship, and then not have them as my number 1 team, both in the West and in the NBA. I've thought about their record a decent amount. I think that there's merit to the regular season being a little bit tougher on them next year. I think there's also plenty of merit to them being a better basketball team. I think Chet Holmgren can take the leap. I think continuity and chemistry will be better. So I think you're at 68 wins. You're better. You become a better basketball team. You win more than that, but the regular season's also tougher. I'm right back to 68. I keep coming back to this number. I don't know that it's going to be possible to do it again, but that's where I'm sitting. I'm sitting on 68. So I think they get the 1 seed, 68 wins, and I think that's about 10 wins clear of number 2. Number 2 being the Houston Rockets. I have as well glowed about the Houston Rockets this offseason. Was really, really excited to watch them with Fred VanVleet, but I still think even post VanVleet, their offense is going to be so much more improved with Kevin Durant. They're going to have the 2-man game with him and Schengen. Amen Thompson is going to take strides as an offensive player. They signed Clint Capella. They signed Dodo, one of your favorite guys. I think they're offensively going to be fine. Defensively, I know it's preseason, but it looks like they took a small step back. Even still, they're going to be a really, really good defensive team. So they've got fresher legs than the Nuggets in my mind. Are they as good a basketball team at its core for the postseason? I agree with you. No, I think Denver is still the biggest threat to OKC out West, but in terms of the regular season, just as they did last year, I expect the Rockets to go get the number 2 seed, followed up by Denver at number 3. Pretty easy. I think they upgraded with Cam Johnson. They've locked in Christian Brown as of today. They've got good pieces. They've got a little bit deeper rotation, not as much continuity, but still a lot of talent there. I think some of the pickups that they've had are going to win them games, maybe even into the postseason. So they're one of the more talented teams in the league. If anything below 3 for them is a bad season in my mind. I think Denver should at minimum be 3, probably at maximum be 2. And then at 4, maybe my spiciest take, Rizzy Rise already got the face going. The Golden State Warriors. Ooh. This is much like my Houston at 2. Do I expect them to be like a legitimate contender for the NBA title next season? No. But I do trust that Steph Curry, that Jimmy Butler, that Draymond Green can carry a team to a lot of regular season wins. I like the Al Horford pickup. They've got a little bit of youth. I know that their core is old, but they've still got some guys that can get out and run in Podziemski, in Kuminga. They're a fun roster. I believe that what they showed after the All-Star break last year is true for the regular season. Did they look like some postseason juggernaut? No, but I think they can go get the 4 seed in this West. I don't think it's going to be improbable, especially with 2 of the better players in the West with Steph and Jimmy Butler. So that would be my Golden State Warriors at number 4 prediction. Rylan, do you have any immediate thoughts to that?
I think that this is pretty bold, but I like it. Fortune favors the bold, whatever Sam always says, I could see it happening. This is the thing about the Western Conference. Like, I envision, and I should clarify in my standings, I envision it'll be similar to last year, where you look at last year's standings and one game separates you from being a 4 or 5 matchup to a play-in team. And that will happen, I think, this year.
All right, thanks for my break. Moving on, number 5, LA Clippers. I think they're a good roster. I think ideally the LA Clippers probably want to be higher than the 5th seed. I think it's possible given that the roster that they've put together. But I also just don't know that I see them really clicking. I don't know if it's ever been in LA's nature to click per se. So I have them at 5. I think that's a good, respectable spot for them. Number 6, the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm with you, Rylan. What did you have them at, 5?
Yep.
I'm with you that I think they've plateaued a little bit talent-wise. I think losing Nah was not a great thing. And yes, maybe they can replace that with internal development. I do expect a leap from Terrence Shannon Jr. I expect Rob Dillingham to be able to play this year, but I don't know that they did enough this offseason to really warrant being one of the best teams in the West. And they're always going to be a threat with Anthony Edwards, with Rudy Gobert, one of the best defenders in the league. But they just didn't wow me this offseason. Maybe I'm being naive in that they could come out and show the exact same product that they had the last few years, but I just don't know that I see it. So I have them at 6. Again, I think that's respectable in this Western Conference, but probably not what T-Wolves fans want to see for the upcoming year. 7, Dallas Mavericks. I didn't know what to think of the Mavericks. I think they're one of, if not the biggest wild card in the NBA. But we watched them, Rye, in Fort Worth, and they won me over a little bit to the point I think they see a successful season for Dallas, whatever they think that is, whether it's making the playoffs, whether it's developing Cooper and seeing some success during the regular season. I think they have a decent year, whatever that looks like. And for me, that would be making the playoffs as the 7 seed, winning some games, rolling Cooper Flag out. I'm sure he's going to look like an early star or future superstar, one of the two. 8 is a very similar team, the San Antonio Spurs, another one with theoretically fresh legs. They have what is going to be one of the best players in the NBA, both now and in the future, Victor Wembanyama. I think they take kind of that, 2023 Thunder leap where they jumped into the play-in, didn't quite make it, but they were an obviously improved basketball team from their rebuild. I think that's the leap that the Spurs take this year. I think Wembanyama plays enough to go and win some awards, whatever those will be. So yeah, I think that would be a successful season for the Spurs too at number 8. 9, in opposition of Rylan, I have the Lakers. LeBron James, Luka Doncic, LeBron being my favorite player of all time, missing out on the postseason as a 9 seed. I just don't love it. I think they have opening night, probably the worst defensive starting 5 in basketball. It's rancid. I don't think they've built this roster specifically for Luka, nor should they. They haven't had enough time to do that. I think Luka is the focal point, but it's not built for him right now. And I just don't see it gelling. LeBron's already not playing until God knows when. This West is tough. They're not the freshest team in the league. They're not going to play good defense. They're going to have to outscore people night after night. I just don't like the Lake Show this year. And as much as it pains me to say it, again, as a LeBron guy, as a guy that likes a lot of pieces on this roster, I just don't see it. 10, Sacramento Kings. I have them making the play-in. People are down on the Kings. Rylan's down on the Kings. They have basketball talent. Like, are they kind of uninteresting in that it's like a lot of not really impactful win now players? Yes. Are they not the best run organization in the league? Yes. But you go down the roster, they've got some guys. I mean, Sabonis, Levine, Westbrook, Schroeder, Keegan Murray. I mean, like, they're going to win some games. They're going to be mediocre, and they're going to be the Kings while being mediocre, but they're not going to be like the worst team in the league. So I've got them in that final play-in spot. After that is the Portland Trailblazers, a team I really, really wanted to put higher than this because I think they're making the right moves and doing the right things. But I just can't at this point without knowing what their offensive product is going to look like, what the leaps from the young guys take. How much are they going to play Yang Hansen? Like, I just don't know these things. So for now, they're on the outside looking in of this postseason at 11. The Pelicans at 12. Again, fun pieces. I don't see it gelling. I don't see it working. They just drafted 2 rookies that I would imagine they want to develop in major minutes this year. So don't see that. And then I think this last trio, the Phoenix Suns.
This last trio is insane.
The Phoenix Suns at 13, Memphis Grizzlies at 14, and Utah Jazz at 15. Utah's certainly separated from them. I think they're going to... Are you ready? Are you going to team me up? Is your hand on the button? Is your hand on the button?
Memphis at 14. Chris Vernon's going to kill you.
They're not a good basketball roster, dude. They just lost their 3rd best player. they're going to be rolling youngsters out in heavy minutes. I just don't see it. I don't know. What are people saying that I don't? Jaw's not some like absolute winning engine. Jaren Jackson Jr. is a good piece, but like, I don't know. I'm not seeing it.
I don't trust them to win a playoff series, but I trust them to get to the play-in. And you not only do you not have them in the play-in, you have them at 14, only clearing the Utah Jazz. You have your forsaken Jalen Green, who you hate. You have Jalen Green's offense ahead of Memphis.
I think I like the Suns starting five a little more, genuinely. Booker, JG, Brooks, Mark Williams. I don't know, dude. I'm not in on this Grizzlies team. And why would they even want to make this push is my question. If you're a Grizzlies fan or if you're in this Grizzlies like organization, are you happy with making the play-in? Go get a good pick, man. What are we doing here?
So, I mean, listen, I could see them not making the play-in. I could totally see them not making the play-in. But unless you just think these guys aren't even going to come back this year or starting the year, injured, then I don't see how they can be the second worst team in the Western Conference.
I'm not saying they're going to be the second worst, like with the product they have now, but I think if you win a certain amount of games before the All-Star break, and then you're looking at, we could push for the 8 seed and go lose to the Thunder in 4 games again, or we could go get AJ DeBonsa, and we could go get Darren Peterson potentially if we just keep losing games. Like, I think Memphis is really, really going to be in that tier, which I talked about last week. I think there's going to be teams that emerge, potentially the Heat, potentially the Grizzlies and Pelicans, that say, you know what? We're not winning the NBA championship this year, which is totally fine. Let's go get a top pick. And I think, honestly, with the Grizzlies having pivoted away from Desmond Bane, they could certainly be in that tier. So, no, is their roster 14th in the West right now? No, but I think they could certainly position themselves pretty easily to be number 14 in the West. Whereas the Suns won't be doing that because they're going to want to win because they don't have picks anyway, yada, yada, yada.
Well, Chris Vernon, let the record show. That was Derek Parker, who thinks that the Memphis Grizzlies will be the 14th team in the West. I have Memphis up at 10, so, at least I have them in the postseason. But Derek is calling for the tank. This will be another fun team to track throughout the season to see who's closer to being right, myself or Derek Parker. But Derek, we do have to, before we get into our awards and our playoff, we have to have a meeting in Secaucus. Coach Dennis says, bold take, if Shai played an entire game and had his normal efficiency and higher three-point volume, that's a lot of qualifiers, he could beat Wilt's 100-point record. How much are we going to let coaches get away with saying it? Hot take. Like, if we have to define a line here where you can no longer just cloud everything in qualifiers and hot takes. At some point, you got to get run.
I want to say, finger on the button. I applaud a bold take. I love throwing them out in chat. I respect you for this. Dennis, it's deserving, buddy.
Coach Dennis, you're teed up, buddy.
Coach, you're not out of here yet, but
you're not double teed. You just got one technical foul, but you've got to watch it. The rest of chat, you got to watch it with your bold takes. I encourage you to still chat it up. We're not one of these refs that tell you not to talk anymore, but be careful.
If that
second tech hits, be careful, Dennis, because that's our first tech on a coach. Coach Dennis, watch out. That is a technical foul. But to recap it all, Derek, we have a fun season ahead. Where did we have the Kings? Well, I had the Kings at 12. Derek had the Kings at 10. So to put it in perspective real quick on the West and the postseason chase, these are our top 10 postseason teams. OKC, Houston, Denver, LA Clippers, Timberwolves, Lakers, Warriors, Spurs, Mavericks, Grizzlies for me. For Derek, you have the Thunder, Rockets, Nuggets, Warriors, Clippers, Timberwolves, Mavericks, Spurs, Lakers, and Sacramento Kings. So Derek has them making the postseason. David throws out a bold take. Pelicans will make the playoffs or play in. This is a perfectly reasonable bold take. I mean, of course it's bold. We haven't predicted that to happen, but I could see them making it to the postseason whenever they have 10 spots in here. Like, we have to remember, when we talk about postseason, they let everyone in the postseason nowadays in the NBA. This is not your father's NBA. 10 teams make what's qualified as the postseason. And we're going to get to our Eastern Conference standings coming up. And Coach K has a bold prediction that the Magic will be the top seed in the East. Do we agree? Coming up on today's Lockdown Thunder Live. We're back on the Lockdown Thunder live show. I'm Rylan Stiles, host of Lockdown Thunder. That's Derek Parker. You can find him on the OKC Dream Team with me. You can find him Mondays and Thursdays, 2 p.m. Central Time, here on Lockdown Thunder with the live show. Also, you can find both of us at thunderonsi.com. And Derek has his own personal YouTube channel, Derek-Parker, where he breaks down NBA draft prospects so you can be in the know on what the draft holds. Because even though the Thunder are here looking to repeat as champions, they still have a lot of vested interest in the NBA draft. And this draft class, Derek, is going to be a lot of fun for you to follow. And so, Derek, take us away. Your Eastern Conference standings.
Number 1, bit of a bold one starting off. I'm going with the Knicks. I think not only are they going to be a better regular season team than the Cleveland Cavaliers, who I still like. I like the Cavs. I think they have a good roster. But this Knicks team, I think they got a little deeper. They've got more continuity. I think they're going to have a really good coach that's going to take them some decent places. So I like the Knicks. I'm in on the Knicks this year.
And the Knicks is Coach Matt's number 1 seed by a landslide. Landslide, great Fleetwood Mac song.
My fiance, the old bag, saw Stevie Nicks a couple nights ago.
How about that? I will say I'm so glad that she did, because that means that the Stevie Nicks promos in the arena are finally finished. We've been watching these Stevie Nicks promos 5 times a game for 2 seasons now. That's no longer a thing. But, you know, I've been afraid of changing, but I've built my life around you, Derek. So what's number 2 on your seating?
Number 2, as I touched on, Cleveland Cavaliers. Like them a lot still. Think they can still easily get to another 50-plus win season. Not much more to say there. I mean, I think they've done well. You know, I don't know that Ty Jerome was the answer. I like Lonzo Ball as a backup playmaker. Think they're going to be a good basketball team again. Really like Evan Mobley out there. Number 3, pretty much the spot people are waiting for, because I feel like Knicks Cavs are 1-2 for everybody. Maybe people have Magic up there, but I've got Magic 3. I like the Desmond Bane trade. I think their 2 forwards and Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner are offensive engines that are going to carry them to 45-plus wins for the next decade. Love their pieces. Number 4, the Atlanta Hawks. I've liked the Hawks season. Honestly, part of me feels like we're getting just a tad too high on the Hawks. But when I look at the rest of these options for the 4 seed, I don't love them either. So this ranking, the Hawks at number 4, has come a little bit out of necessity. I like their roster. I like Trae Young. I think they've got really, really good pieces, and I think they're going to win more games than they did last year, but I feel like our role is getting a little bit too hot and heavy here with the Hawks, as we'll get into when Rylan gives his rankings. Number 5, I've got the Milwaukee Bucks. I hate it. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth, but they have Giannis Antetokounmpo. He is that good. Are they that much worse than last year? I don't think so. I think they're going to be able to win games in this Eastern Conference. Miles Turner helps. I don't like the Bucks. I don't like them for a postseason bid. They just have one of the best players and one of the best regular season engines in the league in Giannis. So going with them at number 5. Detroit at 6. Not a lot more to say on them. I think they're going to be an improved basketball team. I think their young pieces are going to get better. Ron Holland, Azar Thompson seems primed for a leap. Hopefully Jaden Ivey can stay healthy. Really like their squad. Boston Celtics at 7. I wanted to put them higher. I really did. I think they're going to win more games than people expect. Did they lose good pieces? Yes. Do they still have good pieces? Yes. I think they're going to win 40 games. I would feel pretty comfortable saying that. I think they're a solid team. I think they'll make the postseason. Boston at 7. Philadelphia at 8. Honestly, another team I kind of wanted to put higher, but this East is just really tough to rank. Like after those top 4, there's a tier. I would say here, Milwaukee, Detroit, Boston, Philadelphia is a really, really tight-knit group. Philadelphia at 8. I don't trust them to have some blow-you-away season, but they've got good pieces. They've obviously got former MVP, some all-stars, some up-and-coming young players. They're fun. Toronto Raptors at 9. That's a team I've said on here, on live, that I like. I think they're lengthy. They play a lot of high-octane, defensive-minded forwards. They got BI to create some offense, take some offensive pressure off guys like Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickly. So Yep. Still haven't heard of the Heat here, and you won't again because at number 10, Indiana Pacers. I don't think they're going to be near as bad as people say either. You still got Pascal Siakam, you got Nemhard, you got some fun pieces out in Indiana. We'll get into another one that I like later, but Benedict Mathurin, I'd watch out for him. I think he's going to have a real nice year, former number 6 pick, and I believe the 2022 draft. Finally, number 11, kicking off the pit of misery tier is the Miami Heat. I don't like the Heat. I don't think they're projected to have a good season. If I were them, I would pivot. I've already talked about it a few times. They've been fizzling for several years now. Like, you make the finals, you have Jimmy Butler, you have Bam Adebayo, you have Hero. It's fine. You now lose Butler. You obviously didn't recoup the win now value that you either wanted or didn't want in that. So your team is already worse than the finals one. There's so many better teams in the East than you. Bam and Tyler Hero are probably odds on some of the worst, best players in the NBA, at least in terms of like a 1A. If you want a 1A basketball player to lead your team, is it Bam Adebayo and is it Tyler Hero? Probably not. I don't love the Heat. I think they should reposition themselves for the draft this year. So they're my number 11 team. I have them missing out on the postseason. I don't believe in Heat culture this year. I think they have a bad roster. 12, Charlotte Hornets. Enough said, dude. That's ridiculous. That's a huge jump from last year. 13, Chicago Bulls. Similar thing. I think they have really good pieces. I think they could push for the play-in if they wanted to. I think they're another team that when they say, hey, do we want to be the 8 seed and lose to the Knicks or Cavs in 5 games, or do we want to go get AJ DeBonsa, Darren Peterson, Cam Boozer with Chicago ties? I think they do that, and I think they play Noah Asenge, and I think they hammer home Modest Bizelis star minutes, and I think they ultimately probably end up with a lesser record than they should. 14, Brooklyn Nets, better than the Washington Wizards at number 15.
Yeah, shocker that you went with the Hornets at 12. And then the Nets ahead of Washington, which you had to do because of our bet. But also, if your predictions come true, we're 1-1 in bets with the Sixers ahead of the Hornets and the Nets ahead of the Wizards.
I'm eating steaks and you're watching. I'm eating steaks and watching Elvis movies in this scenario.
Yeah, we should just knock them both out at the same time. Well, there's nothing that complements an Elvis movie more than steaks. It's a great time. Derek, my Eastern Conference standings. Going to be number 1, Cleveland Cavaliers. I think that they once again distance themselves in the regular season from the rest of the East. The New York Knicks at number 2. I like their team overall defense. I don't like the fact that in a playoff setting, you'd be relying on Brunson and Cat to defend. But in the regular season, I think that they've bolstered their depth from what they had a year ago. I think that they have a coach now who will play some of their depth, which will get them by plenty in this dreadful Eastern Conference. Look, the Eastern Conference, I mean, figuring out the rest of this league past number 4 is like shuffling chairs on the Titanic. It's pointless. It's a more competitive league in the Big East and the college basketball scene than it is in the Eastern Conference. But number 3, the Atlanta Hawks, whomst I love. I think that they've built a great team around Trae Young to maximize his skill set. It takes a lot on him to actually solidify who he is as a player and define who he is as a player this year. It's kind of a make or break year, I think, for Trae Young and his future, both reputationally around the league and also his future in Atlanta, period. And then number 4, the Orlando Magic. Great defense. I don't think that Desmond Bane fixes all their offensive concerns, but he does help in a big way. Number 5, the Detroit Pistons. Number 6, my Philadelphia 76ers. I'm banking on it, man. I mean, Embiid played in the preseason. If they can get healthy and they can stay healthy, then the Sixers can be in that top 6 and avoid the play-in tournament. Number 7, the Boston Celtics. I just trust their coaching staff, and I trust their high complement of NBA-level players. I do have concerns about their front court depth, but Boston at 7 for me. And that leads to number 8, the Milwaukee Bucks, which is just Giannis and everyone else who are not very good. I think that they're going to lose more games than they should, and it'll be a rocky season for them. The trade rumors will begin to swirl heavily for Giannis, and it sets up a prime summer for Giannis to request that trade after finishing as the 8th seed in the porous Eastern Conference. Number 9, the Indiana Pacers. This is a Rick Carlisle projection. I trust him so much as a great basketball coach to lead a team that's full of Robins and make them a collective unit that's good enough to win in the Eastern Conference and get to the play-in tournament in the postseason. Number 10, the Chicago Bulls, for the exact opposite reason of what you have the Bulls finishing. I believe that this franchise is content with just being as good as possible and not trying to tank, and their ceiling to be as good as possible, even with some pieces that you like, Giddey, Buzelis, their ceiling is a 10th seed and just being a complete mediocre team, mediocre franchise at this point. The Bulls at 10. 11, the Toronto Raptors. Some of the inexperience cost them down the stretch of the season. They have a neck-and-neck race with the Bulls and finish just shy of the postseason. Number 12, the Miami Heat. I'm not buying into Heat culture. I think that this roster is pretty bad. Like you mentioned, they don't have anyone who gets you excited to lead a team, much less if they suffer any injuries at all. Number 13, my Washington Wizards. Ahead of your Hornets and your Nets. I just think that the Wizards have the competitive depth of youngsters who don't know any better and are going to try to win this season, even against orders from the front office. But they're going to pull out enough wins from two other tanking teams to finish at 13, ahead of the Hornets at 14, who I was dismayed by in the preseason. Watching them play twice in the preseason, I think that this is a disgusting roster. They will not play a lick of defense, and the second that LaMelo Ball disengages offensively, which will be pretty quickly with his track record, it's going to be a bad offense as well, to where they're going to lose games. And number 15, the roster I hate the most in the NBA, the Brooklyn Nets. I love Jordy Fernandez. Love him to death. But he's coaching a bunch of guys that can't play. And it'll be 15th seed for the Brooklyn Nets. So that's my Eastern Conference standings, Derek. Where do you disagree?
Nets 15 is crazy. Just not going to happen. No shot. Wizards. I mean, we've covered it. They're not going to win too many basketball games, but I like their process. I like them a lot positionally, organizationally, more in the East than the Nets. I'm glad you agree with me on Heat. Your facial expressions were giving you were going to say that was too bold.
I was accidentally reading ahead because I did not look at your standings until we started the show, and then I saw what you did for the East and putting the Hornets where you did and the Nets where you did, and I was reading ahead a little bit.
Where are we in basketball discourse that 12 is just some magnitudinal? They've been the 12 seed in the last 3 years, probably.
Okay. Anything else you disagree with?
Okay. No, I feel like we're pretty similar.
Yeah, we're pretty aligned on that. We had some spots that were flipped. I think our biggest disagreement, if you really broke it down, was Milwaukee. But the thing is, I don't have a strong case against you, and I don't think you have a strong case against me to really debate it. Like, yes, could Giannis put on a cape and be superhuman and lift this roster up to the top half of the Eastern Conference? Certainly. Could it be too much for him to bear, and he slides down a few spots from 5 where you have him to 8 where I have him? Of course, that could also happen. So we'll just see how the Bucks play out. But Derek, we do have our awards, and then we're going to do our playoff bracket one round at a time in both conferences, leading up to telling you at the end who will win the NBA championship. And our technical fouls that we're going to hand out, we've already handed out one to Coach Dennis. We got some more on tap as well. David says, hot take, LaMelo will be traded by the deadline. Sakakis says no tech, but it is a hot take, and it'd be very fascinating if that were to happen. Now, let's dive into the awards. Derek, who is your MVP of this season?
Yeah, it's hard for me to sit here and say the Thunder are going to win 68 games and they're going to have the best defense in the league and they're going to repeat it, yada, 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 and not give the MVP to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I noticed a trend. In 2014 and 15, Steph Curry went back-to-back. In 2018-19, Giannis went back-to-back. In 2020, 2021, Nikola Jokic went back-to-back. And if we go back further, LeBron went back-to-back twice. Steve Nash went back-to-back. Duncan went back-to-back. I think that when you win MVP, you come into the next season with such a buzz and such a, I don't want to use it, but for lack of a better word, an aura. And I just think Shai has got that going into next season. He's obviously comfy. I know it was preseason, but the dude missed 4 shots. His playmaking somehow looked improved. He looked confident shooting the ball. It is not a wild assumption that Shai could go get another one, especially if the Thunder roll out another all-time defense, win another 60-plus games, which I think is certainly on the table. So Shai's my pick. I do think it's going to be a really, really tight race with Jokic, who obviously one of the best players in the world, if not the best for a lot of people, myself included. I think Jokic is awesome. He could easily go get a 4th, but for now, I'm leaning Shai.
I like that MVP. I'm going to go with Jokic. I just think that the voters are going to correct themselves to Jokic because that's what they've done. I mean, they just can't stay away from this guy. And to me, they love Jokic so much that it's almost impossible to dethrone him. Think of how much that we had to scrap, claw, and fight the good fight that Shai was rightfully the MVP last year because, well, look at this advanced metric that says Jokic is the best player of all time. Yeah, guess what Jokic is going to do his whole career? Until he's retired and playing with horses, he's going to put up historic numbers. He's going to be this Paul Bunyan-esque figure. Guess who also was that? Michael Jordan, LeBron James. Did we just gift them MVP after MVP after MVP? No. And I don't know why we do it with Jokic, but we do. And if they're going to be a top 3 seed in the West, he's going to get the award. And that's just the way it is. I don't like it, but that's my prediction. I agree with you, though. Shai should be in consideration for the MVP, obviously. And I think that our voting would be different if we were not basing this on predicting how this thing is going to unfold, which brings us to Defensive Player of the Year. I think that Wembanyama will win it, as do you. I personally would not vote for Wemby to win Defensive Player of the Year because I think that unless he changed this fact, to me, at best, San Antonio will have a middle-of-the-pack defense. And that's not worthy of Defensive Player of the Year to me. I think that Chet Holmgren will do what Wemby does. He'll get the blocks. He'll be a defensive anchor. He'll spark transition. He'll do all the things that Wemby does on the best defense in the league. He won't get the votes to win Defensive Player of the Year. I would vote for him. He won't get the votes. People are itching to hand over awards to Wemby and crown him, which he's a great player. He will soon be crowned, but I think that we're jumping the gun a little bit, but he will be DPOY as long as he plays 65 games. If he just simply logs 65 games, the ballots are turned in that day for Wemby to be DPOY.
I as well think Wembanyama will win it. I'm a little more hesitant to say that it's like a roll out of bed award because I think there's a lot of talented defenders in this league. Also, 3.8 blocks per game is crazy. That's like an undeniable so much stuff. Last year, they were number 21 in defensive rating. I will think they will have to be higher than that. Maybe he could win it if they were still a bad team defense, but I think the Spurs are going to be an improved roster. I have them jumping in the West. I think it stands to reason they're going to get a little better at defense too. I think Wemby's an unbelievable defender. I think he's a transformational player and defender, and I think he will be more than worthy of a Defensive Player of the Year award should he win it. Moving on, I teased this earlier, most improved. I utterly detest this award. I think for the longest time, it's been a what star is going to take the superstar leap or what player that is projected to be an all-star takes the all-star leap. I don't like it. This year, I have Benedict Mathurin, Pacers guard, kind of slash wing. I would expect him to carry a pretty big offensive load without Tyrese Halliburton in the lineup. I was really high on Mathurin in the pre-draft process. I think he's been a little shaky on defense, but offensively, he's shown everything that we want to see. I believe he averaged somewhere in the realm of 16 points per game last year. If the Pacers were intent on him growing as an offensive player and using him in their offense, he could go for 20. It's not that big of a stretch for him to average 4 more points with their superstar star guard out. And I think he could go for more than that, to be honest. So he would be my pick, most improved Benedict Mathurin, taking a rightful star scoring leap.
Yeah, my pick for MIP, again, I agree with you. I do not like this award and how it's voted on, but if you're predicting it, you've got to factor in how it's voted on. Amen Thompson is going to be the most improved player because if my prediction holds true that Houston's the 2 seed, because this is a team that we've spent the last month talking about the concerns at their guard position, talking about how they're going to replace Fred VanVleet. For them to be the 2 seed, it's going to be Amen, who ups his scoring on the ball, who shows the playmaking that has always been inside of him, and he will be the MIP because of that fact. Now let's go rapid fire through the last 3, because the last 3, honestly, 2 of them are the most worthless to predict, and then 1 of them is a no-brainer. 6th man of the year for me, Chris Paul. Why not? Because I think that he'll come off the bench. I think that they'll start Chris Dunn. I think that the Clippers, of course, will be good. So I have 6th man of the year for Chris Paul. It is not an award that you can truly predict because, for example, like I think that Josh Hart is a great candidate for this. But the Knicks could suffer an injury here or there, and then all of a sudden he's a starter. All of a sudden he's not going to get 6th man of the year. So Chris Paul is my 6th man of the year. Rookie of the year, Cooper Flagg. Get out of bed award. If Cooper Flagg logs a single game, his ballot will be turned in already for Rookie of the Year. And then Coach of the Year, why not Quinn Snyder? I mean, this is how it's voted on of just teams that make a leap. Going from a play-in team to the top 3 seed in the East, we'll get Quinn Snyder the Coach of the Year honor, as well as I think the sneaky storyline for Atlanta. I think that considering you having Trae Young on the floor, you're going to look at that defense and say, how in the world are they this good defensively when they have Trae Young on the floor? It's going to be because of Quinn Snyder. It's going to be because of their roster improvements. Coach of the year, Quinn Snyder for me.
Sixth man of the year, I have Peyton Pritchard. Kind of a gamble because he could start, but I would expect Anthony Simons to move into that starting role. And Peyton Pritchard to still be sixth man. I think he's found a lot of comfort, not comfortability there, a lot of comfort there in that sixth man role. So I think he stays there and gets it with a lot of points for this Celtics team. Rookie of the year, Cooper Flagg. Where I opposed your Wembanyama rollout a bet award, I do think Cooper Flagg doesn't have to do much to win this, but I think he will. I think he's that good of a player. I think he's unbelievable. I think he's going to help the Dallas Mavericks win games this year, as I talked about earlier. Coach of the year, Mike Brown. It's not absurd that the Knicks would go and be the number one team in the East, but I do think it's going to be really, really tough to do as it's his first stint. I think people will respect the fact that he can help them get even better this season without making any crazy, crazy roster moves. So I like Mike Brown, win a lot of games in the East with the Knicks.
Yeah, and his story could also be like how they do it. Like if the Knicks are a top 2 seed in the East, but they're doing it because they're playing their bench and they're getting more out of their bench than what they did a year ago, they could say like, this is all because of his development. This is all because of his impact. This is all because of his mindset that differs from their previous coach. And they feel really good about that. Plus, of course, having the big market, etc., will be a big deal. But I like those award predictions from us. Let's go through our playoff bracket. We're going to go one round at a time, one conference at a time. Derek, first round of the Western Conference. Who you got?
First round, Thunder, number 1 seed versus number 8 seeded Spurs. I have Thunder in 5. I think the Spurs could absolutely go win a playing game and secure that number 8 seed, but I don't think they're necessarily prepared for the postseason, just as the Thunder weren't a few years ago. They're just not at that stage yet. So I would expect the Thunder to win in 5, maybe 6 if Wembanyama did some absolutely crazy all-time stuff, which is probably going to be possible for the 7'12" phenom or whatever he is now. Number 2 seeded Rockets versus the number 7 seeded Mavericks. I have Rockets in 6. As I'm looking at this, I'm already rethinking it to Rockets in 7 because the Mavericks are going to be good, dude. Like I know there's so many question marks, but defense wins you playoff series. They're going to have that. I would expect surely Kyrie Irving to be back by this point. Cooper Flagg has a year of play under his belt. Obviously would be his first postseason experience, but I would have Rockets regardless winning the series. I think they're that versatile, that good defensively, but Mavericks a good basketball team. The number 3 seeded Nuggets versus the number 6 seeded Wolves. Nuggets in 5. I know that they've had problems with the Wolves before, but I feel this whole season for the Wolves is going to be underwhelming. I think I would be remiss not to say that their postseason series would go the same way. I think they probably need to see some pretty big changes ahead of next year before moving on. So Nuggets in 5, and then Warriors 4, a team I was high on in the regular season, versus the LA Clippers at 5. This is where I pivot. I like the Warriors as a regular season team, but this Clippers team feels a little more built for the postseason. I think they've proven that in the last few years. They've put together some really, really competitive series. So I have Clippers in 7.
I like that. And I love our first round. You know, we're unbiased. We don't root for anything, but I am rooting for our first round to come correct in the sense of the partnerships, because driving down to San Antonio would be fun. I'd be blaring in the car with you. Is anyone going to San Antonio? But I have the Thunder in the first round taking on the Dallas Mavericks, the 1-8 matchup. This would be a fun series, a competitive series, and then it's Dallas's turn to lose in 6, but point to the point differential, point to the fact that they weren't a healthy team till the very end of the year, and point to how hard life was on the Thunder to win in 6. Thunder win it in 6 against Dallas, the 1-8 matchup there. Rockets, Warriors, just repeat it from last year. It goes the distance in 7. The difference being KD's in town, and the Rockets win in 7 games. Nuggets, Lakers, Nuggets in 6, because I just love Luka Doncic so much, and I believe that the Lakers will be able to push them a tad bit. And there's going to be one game in here where, the Nuggets just don't have it that night, and they start out giving up a 10-0 run, and it's like, you know what? We've got this series in hand. We're the better team. Have this blowout, Lakers. Have your celebration, and then at the end of the day, Nuggets win the series. Clippers, Timberwolves, perhaps the best series on the board in my first round of the West. Clippers in 6 over Minnesota, and that sets up our second round. You have Thunder versus Clippers. I have Thunder versus Clippers. You have Rockets Nuggets. I have Rockets Nuggets. We're back on track in this second round. How does that Thunder Clippers series go, Derek?
I think Thunder in 5. I just glowed about the Clippers. I think they have a really good roster. I think it's built for the postseason. They've got some really phenomenal players. This, I feel like, would be, if it happens, the series where we go from the Thunder are a really, really good basketball team to, oh no, the Thunder have flipped another gear. They are an absolute buzzsaw. Like, if we're going to see this Thunder team hit that next level, I think it's going to be in round 2 versus a team that a lot of people expect to compete with them, and they gentlemen sweep them. So that's what I'm projecting for this Thunder team. Again, we've talked about it all offseason. I can't wait to actually talk about real basketball, but I think the defense is that good. I think they stand to take leaps on offense. They just got to get healthy. Chet Holmgren's going to be an animal this year. So I think that in the second round next year, they prove all these things we've been talking about. It all accumulates in a beatdown of the LA Clippers 5-game series.
Yeah, Thunder Clippers for me. I have Thunder in 6, and I think that it splits in OKC to start the series. There's one game in the Intuit Dome that the wall just overwhelms them, and they just kind of wave it in. You see all them do that a couple series last year where they just got blown out, and they just didn't even show up to the game. I think that that'll happen once in this series, on top of Clippers getting one outright. Thunder win in 6, though, against the Clippers, and it sets up Rockets-Nuggets. Again, probably the best matchup of the second round for the Western Conference.
Yeah, I have it going 7. Really didn't know who to pick here. I think I go Nuggets based purely off experience. Fred VanVleet might have moved the needle for me here, but yeah, like the Nuggets in 7 games. I like the roster they've built. I think I favor them just a little bit over Houston.
It's the end of the road for Houston for me. Nuggets in 6. The point guard room actually bites them. The Rockets spend all offseason talking about if they had Fred VanVleet, they would have won that series. But Denver beats them. Denver's the much better team to me, and it's for sure the 2 best teams, OKC, Denver, for both of us in the West Finals.
Yeah, I've got Thunder over the Nuggets in 6. I think last season's series was trending towards this before, game 1, a few blunders later in the series. So I think the Thunder are capable of beating this Nuggets team in 6 games. So that's ultimately what I'm rolling with this year as well. Though, I mean, we talk about it all the time on this live. Do not sleep on Denver. I don't want to dismiss this as oh, the Thunder have already done it. It could easily be done again. Denver is a legitimate basketball team with an all-time lead player. So yeah, I just don't want to be dismissive of those 2.
I have the Thunder winning in 7. I think that there's going to be a couple games in there where there's going to be a game where the Nuggets just beat the Thunder. Both teams are playing great basketball. Nuggets just win. There's going to be a couple games in there where OKC cannot buy a bucket from 3, and Tim Hardaway Jr. is on an absolute heater. And then the Thunder, though, when it's all said and done, this is why you play 7 games. This is why the NBA is not built for upsets. You have Thunder, Nuggets, Thunder in 7 in the Paycom Center, and they're back in the NBA Finals for us, Derek, and they buck the trend of parity. How about that?
Yeah, 100%. We'll see.
We will see. Eastern Conference, round number 1. We can fly by through this one because not a lot of you care about the Eastern Conference for good reason. First round of this series, I have Cavs Bucks. You have Knicks Bucks. And what do you have for the Knicks Bucks?
I got Knicks in 5. I don't think that's particularly close. Giannis is a monster, but I mean, nothing's really saving that Bucks team come postseason time.
I have this going Cavs Bucks, Cavs in 6. I have game 1 is the Bucks have everything click for them and they win the game, and the Cavs look decrepit offensively, and you're just oh my God, is this? Are the Cavs just not built for the playoffs? Then they steady the waters down. Bucks do get one more at home because of Giannis being just superhuman, but the Cavs do win in 6. And this is a rare 6-game series where it's not even really competitive whenever you break it all down. I have Knicks Celtics, and you have Cavs Pistons. Knicks Celtics, I'm going to go Knicks in 5. Fairy tale season for the Celtics. They all come together and band together and have this fun little season with battling all these injuries. But I have the Knicks just kind of blowing them out of the water, frankly, in a gentleman's sweep over the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, I got Cavs over Pistons in 7. It pains me not to have the Pistons win a playoff series because I think they're going to be good enough to, but here they run into a buzzsaw that is the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think they exercise some postseason demons from last year, go win a tough 7-game series, and propel themselves into the second round.
Now, I have the Hawks Sixers. I have the Hawks in 6 games over my Philadelphia 76ers, and you have the Magic Celtics.
Yeah, I got Magic in 6. I think they're a better, more talented basketball team.
I have I have Magic Pistons. This is going to be, if you hate the modern NBA and you think, oh, they don't play defense anymore, this isn't the basketball I grew up on, this is going to be the basketball you grew up on. Grindy, bad offense, great defense, however you want to view the picture. Magic in 7. They have just enough offense now to get over the hump with Desmond Bane, and they beat the Detroit Pistons.
Round 2? We're moving on to round 2?
Round 2, you have Knicks, Hawks 1-4, Cavs, Magic. I have Cavs, Magic, but I have Knicks, Hawk as well, just kind of flip-flop the seeding there. But we're back on track with the actual game's sake. Let's go with Knicks, Hawks first.
Knicks, Hawks, I have Knicks in 5. Again, I think the Hawks have built a really good roster. I think the Knicks have an even better roster, even more proven. They did this last year, so definitely going to be going with the Knicks in 5.
I have the Knicks winning this series as well, but I have the Knicks doing it in 7 games. I really trust this Hawks offense to exploit some of the Brunson cat concerns, but I think ultimately Knicks better team. Knicks win it in the Garden, but this will be epic. Trae Young back in the Garden. What a time. And then Cavs, Magic. The Cinderella story for Orlando ends in the second round quickly. Their offense gets exposed. Desmond Bane gets overwhelmed, similarly to how he looked against OKC last year in the first round. And there's just not a lot of offense there, not a lot of juice there for the Magic. Cavs in 5.
Yeah, they're a good defensive team, the Magic, but I don't know that they have answers for what the Cavaliers would probably bring in that series. So I have the Cavs in 6. So I give them a little credit. I do think they're going to win a couple games there.
And then we have the Eastern Conference Finals. Both of us, Cavs, Knicks. Who's your winner?
I have the Knicks over the Cavs in 7. I really believe in this Knicks team. I think they got to a point last year. I think they genuinely probably overperformed relative to expectations. I doubt Knicks fans would say that, but I think they got some needed experience. They built some needed continuity, chemistry across that roster. And I think next year, with just a little bit deeper roster, with a little more chemistry, with a new and ingenuous head coach, I think they make it to the NBA Finals, beating the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Man, that'd be a fun series. I have the Cavs over the Knicks. Cavs get it done in 6 games. I just think that Cleveland's going to figure it out this year and how to win in the postseason. You have Thunder, Knicks. I have Thunder, Cavs. Do the Thunder repeat as champions?
I do. I don't want to seem like we're just like writing fan fiction here because this is so far away, but I really do just believe they're the best roster in basketball. It's hard not to watch them. Like I said last year, the entire time, watch this defense, watch Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, watch Jalen and Chet grow into co-stars and not see them as the champion. Obviously, we've talked about the parity a lot. It could bite this team too. They're not infallible. They're not like yet one of the greatest teams of all time, but man, when you watch them, it certainly feels like it sometimes. So it's hard not to take them right now, especially over a Knicks roster that, as you've touched on several times, it's got some issues. I think they're a good team, but the Thunder would just be a better and more talented team.
Yeah, and if I was doing your playoff of Knicks Thunder, I'd have Thunder in 5. But I'm doing Thunder Cavs, and I've got Thunder in 7. I think that the Cavs can steal away a game. I think that the Cavs can win a couple outright. And the Thunder, though, having home court advantage and having the defense to take away Garland and Mitchell when it matters most and wear them out throughout the course of a series, plus the experience. Like, you have to remember the Cavs have had plenty of playoff questions, and this would be a great season for them just to make it here. The Thunder, though, are going to edge them out, win the championship again. We both have the Thunder going back to back. This is an uncommon team. They need an uncommon season. The last repeat winner was in 2018. The last 6 champions have failed to even make it out of the second round. We have them doubling that up here in our season preview, but that's what we are all about. The regular season is here. We're going to see how right we are. Derek, you're the draft guy. I want to end our preview with one last thing. Derek, who is the top pick in this year's draft?
I want you to go first. I want to respond to your take.
Okay. My top pick is AJ DeBansa from BYU, funded by Ryan Smith of the Utah Jazz. Hopefully for his sake, he wins the lottery and selects AJ DeBansa. I think DeBansa is a fantastic player and is a clear-cut number 1 guy. Who is your top pick, though?
I love DeBansa. Love AJ. He's awesome.
Was I saying it wrong?
I don't know. TBD. I'm pretty sure it's DeBansa, but we might have to wait till the old BYU broadcast to see because you never know. You never know. Love him. He's going to be an awesome wing. He's going to be an awesome 2-way wing. He's going to be one of the better scoring wings in the NBA one day, probably. I believe that. I'm going Darren Peterson, DP, Kansas guard, combo guard. And Rylan, I'm tired of you lowering your expectations for a Kansas prospect and hedging your bets to not be disappointed. He's him. And you need to start acting like your Kansas Jayhawker point guard / shooting guard / do it all everything MVP is not. You got to quit hedging your bets. You do this as a Tennessee football fan, and I allow you to do it year in and year out, whether it's the start of the game, the start of the season, you're hedging your bets, and I'm tired of it. You got to believe in your guard, your Kansas Jayhawker. He is that dude.
I am a Kansas Jayhawker through and through, and I've been fooled many a times. I thought that Josh Jackson was a better player than Jason Tatum, of course, Embiid and Wiggins. But for the first time in my lifetime, Kansas is picked to finish 7th in the Big 12. What in the world? 7th? I'm a little concerned about what's going on in Lawrence, but I'll be there no matter what. In fact, I was just last week cross-referencing the Jayhawks schedule to the Thunder schedule. And this is hard to pull off, but somehow the powers that be had me in mind. There's only 4 games that Kansas will play this year that happens on the same day as a Thunder game day, which is just brilliant for me. I cannot wait for Kansas basketball to begin. And I hope that you're right, that it is going to be my guy DP. It's another DP that I love, Derek Parker and Drew. But Cam Boozer, is that a hot take, Derek? You're the draft guy. Cam Boozer, #1 from Coach David?
I don't think, I mean, it might be a warm to hot take. It's not a blistering take. He's really, really good. I think the more connectiveness of his style at combo forward is probably not going to lend itself to #1 talks. I think he'll be pretty firmly #3, just because I think AJ's going to pop on film, and I think DP is going to pop on film. I don't know that Cam Boozer pops, but he is going to be such an awesome defensive player. And I think whatever player gets the #3 pick, or if someone were to take him #2 or #1, it could happen. It's possible. I think they're going to be really, really happy with Cam Boozer.
Derek, we're going to end the show the way we always do. We're going to hand out some technical fouls. And the first one, I am nothing if not unbiased and fair. And I've got to call balls and strikes on this show. I'm giving myself a technical foul for believing that the Tennessee Volunteers could go into Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and get a win in football. That is an egregious technical foul on my part.
That's a technical foul.
This game was over before it started, and yet at kickoff, I was sitting back in Latin America proclaiming, I believe that the Volunteers have a chance in this game. That feeling evaporated very quickly in that contest. The 99-yard pick six that Joey Aguilar threw nearly killed me whenever he did that before half. And I'm never again in my life, I solemnly swear, I will never again in my life believe Tennessee will go to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and win a game. Never again will I believe that to be true, because they haven't done it since 2003.
So let me know this. Well, first off, give me a rundown of how this game went, because I myself was at the ballet during it.
I wish I was too.
Watching a little Dracula. So you're going to have to hit me with how this game went, because it looked close early. Did it just get out of hand?
Oh, it got out of hand fast and in a hurry. Tennessee starts with the football. First time on their opening possession all year that they didn't score. That was a bad sign. Bama goes down for a 90-yard touchdown. Tennessee tried to threaten a little bit, but it was a game that 99-yard pick six ruined it.
So he threw a pick on the 1, and they went back 99.
Line, last play of the half, he threw a pick, and it ended the half, and it put Alabama up.
Slant route? Like, what are we talking here?
Dude, they tried the run, Spire 2XY banana on the goal line whenever everybody in the building knew that they couldn't run the ball again because they had no timeouts. It was ridiculous. It was awful. Joey Hasley deserves to be fired. Josh Heupel on the hot seat for me. And they have Seth Luttrell in their coaching staff. That tells you all you need to know if you're from Norman, Oklahoma. I don't know that Tennessee will win another game this year. I mean, you look at how competitive that Kentucky is. Now, I will say this. I've got to call balls and strikes. I do have a predisposition to say they're going to lose in Florida because they never won in Florida. Another streak that's been going on since 2003. So they're going to lose in Florida because of that fact. I will say, conversely, Tennessee owns those mountaintop miners in Kentucky. They're going to beat Kentucky. But after that, and after they play New Mexico State, it's over for them. They're not going to win another game. They're just that bad. So, yeah, I'm out on Tennessee.
We're getting too much football talk here from Dennis on this basketball show, so I'll throw it over to non-sports talk entirely. Actually, one last little football thing. Karam said, I will give the Giants a tech for blowing a big lead yesterday. I considered doing exactly that. I really did.
Technical foul.
That was miserable football going on in that fourth quarter for one of those teams. My actual technical foul, I've got an article pulled up. You guys know I love my articles. Union City PD captures 2 local hamburglers. The Union City Police Department has successfully captured not 1, but 2 local hamburglers after a daring and deeply misguided freezer break-in at the Union City Help Center. Officers responded to a call reporting that someone had broken into the Help Center's freezer and stolen a significant amount of meat. After a thorough investigation and a few cheesy jokes along the way, officers identified the suspects, who will not be named on this live stream, both of whom, after being grilled by investigators, admitted to committing the crime.
That's a technical foul.
Becoming a real-life rendition of a beloved McDonald's character is deserving of a technical foul. That is wild.
That's a crazy story. That is a crazy story. That is a technical foul. Derek, our next live stream will be our very first one in the NBA season, in the regular season. We're going to have our overreactions to the first 2 nights in the association and whatever fun we can get into along the way. Derek, how pumped are you for this week?
I'm so excited. I'm buzzing. I'm going to be buzzing till tip-off tomorrow night.
I'm buzzing. I'm under the influence of love of basketball, under the influence of love. Great Buck Owens song. Look it up, folks. Song of the day. Derek, I will see you in the name of Joe Buck and Jack Buck, father-son play-by-play duo, my favorites. I will see you tomorrow night at the Paycom Center for ring night. Hope to see a lot of you out there. And until next time, with a loaded schedule on Locked On Thunder. By the way, 5 days a week and 2 live streams plus after every single game. That's our schedule the rest of the week here on Locked On Thunder on your screen. Until next time, be good and be good to one another.